Squatters, welcome back. I had to quickly shoot this episode because I feel it's very important to do so. I want to play a clip for you by Comrade Geza. Comrade Geza is a war veteran in Zimbabwe. He was a soldier. He's from military, and he has actually come out to criticize Emerson Mnangagwa. In fact, by the way, this is the man behind everything that is happening there in Zimbabwe. But the good thing about it is that he's pushing for liberation for the Zimbabweans. I think we need to honestly give credits to this old man who is still having a burning desire to see his country shaping up. And if the youth of Zimbabwe could at least listen to this man, be patient, and also hit the call to push this protest. Because if you look at these police officers are charging at people. These police officers just wanted to brutalize people. You know, when there is a peaceful protest, police should understand one thing. You don't charge at people who are not a threat to you. You know, this thing of police charging at people, and when they react, then they start violence. It's very, very, very wrong. And I want to advise the Zimbabwean police, even South Africa, they sometimes do that, which is something very dumb. If you are a police officer, you're monitoring the crowd, you're doing crowd control, and this crowd is not actually posing any threat. The Zimbabwean youth, they were walking the street, they were just peacefully protesting to say, listen, we are tired of this government. This government has been abusing us for the longest time, and we don't want anything to do with this government. There's nothing wrong about it. That is their constitutional right. I'm not really sure about the constitution of Zimbabwe, but I believe the constitution remains a constitution. No one has got the right to exercise violence on the other. Whether you are a law enforcement officer, you cannot do that. You don't have a right to do that. This thing of the police throwing tear gas to the people, charging at people, so when they react, then they start assaulting them, they start brutalizing them, and all of that must come to an end. Zimbabwe must change. They must shape up. The leadership must shape up, and they must understand that they are actually leading people. They are not leading objects. They are leading subject. People who can think, people who have got constitutional right, people who those are human. So at the same time, the very same police who are charging at people and doing all those funny things, they themselves, when the regime changes, they will benefit. Now the question that I have, which is a very critical question, is that when they push Emerson Mnangagwa out, even if maybe they push ZANU-PF out, who is going to emerge as the person who is in charge? The person who can take Zimbabwe to a promised land? Because in politics, if that part is not discussed, there might be some issues of now everybody wanting to claim power, and that would be the problem. What they really need to be clear on when they do all this protest, boycotting and everything, is that this is the person, put the candidate forward. This is the person we want. Maybe, let's say for argument's sake, they say, we need Nelson Chamisa to lead us from CCC. Then that is fine. In my own view, they must just push the whole ZANU-PF out. I don't care that whoever will do better than whoever, they are all the same. They are all rotten. They must just be pushed out. And I want to compliment this old man for taking that risk. For taking that risk and taking it upon himself to say, I'm going to save my country. I don't care how old I am. This is the kind of patriotism we need in South Africa. Let's watch the video. We'll talk after this video.
That's the situation. The streets were empty, absolutely empty. And I received similar reports from other cities. This is very encouraging you have sent a clear message that you want Emerson and his corrupt cabal, Zigananda, to go. This is the beginning of a series of events to send him packing. And we want to assure you that he is going in the shortest possible time. National Bechakadzanya, momentum ought to be maintained. We have observed police barbaric actions against innocent and peaceful protesters. We have observed that Emerson is using the police to instill gross fear in the public instead of engagement or, better still, just resigning. Mutamba, ndoda kuyambira chimwe chinhu. Vana veZimbabwe vane right to demonstrate. That is their democratic right. Zviri muconstitution yedu yenyika tinoona nyika dzakasiyana siyana, including South Africa, vanoita mademonstration. As long as mademonstrations iwo are peaceful, vana vari kuita mademonstrations are peaceful, muri kuvadzvanyirira. Unoda kuti vachiita zvinhu zvei zvamaita time Zana Smith. Saka iwewe constitution yakabvumirwa navanhu more than 99% yemhuri yeZimbabwe. Ndo constitution yavada kuda through the window. Iwewe Mutamba Sami. Look, Mutamba, I'm giving the last warning. Emerson madays ake ari muofisa number. And iwewe chakupfekedzwa saga kana ukaposa. Siyana nemunhu wako Mutamba. I've called for the 31st March protest, and people took heed by closing their shops to allow for the protest, but the police decided to block the people. This shows Mnangagwa's fear and desperation to cling on to power. Let me remind the police their duty is to maintain law and order, not to foment chaos. They are supposed to protect citizens as they exercise their constitutional rights, not to tear gas, them, to deny them their rights. The police are supposed to protect the people, not criminals. We include Mnangagwa himself.
Well said, well said. It's very clear, the gentleman is not beating behind the bushes. I just took a snippet. You can watch a full video on Comrade Geza's YouTube channel. So the gentleman is addressing Emerson Mnangagwa, someone whom everybody in Zimbabwe is very scared to stand against, to confront one-on-one. I'm not referring to opposition parties and all of that. Yes, there and there they do, but they are very careful. They are very, they know that anything can happen to you. I want to compliment this old man for doing this, because he understands very well that he's doing this for his own country. He's doing this for the next generation. Even if he can see that I'm too old, but I still want to liberate the country. The question remains that who is going to take over? Who is going to take the people of Zimbabwe to the promised land? Because I've spoken to a few guys who are from Zimbabwe for the past 2 days. Some of these guys, they are eager to go back to their country, to their home country. Some of them, they would say, if ZANU-PF can go out, if Emerson Mnangagwa is no longer a president, I'm willing to go back to my country. It's the same. I'm here in South Africa. I continue to be poor. I continue to be subjected to being called a foreigner. I continue to be under a constant risk of being attacked in the xenophobic attack. If ever those kind of things, they break out, I know that I'm not safe and all of that. So there's too many guys who are willing to leave South Africa, to go peacefully. They will just volunteer to be deported back to their home country so that they can enjoy the democracy. What I couldn't understand is that why, in this critical time, when they were supposed to be there fighting the same evil government, they are not there. Some of them, well, for their own reasons, they are busy with whatever and all of that. But if I was, in my own view, as a Zimbabwean, you leave everything, you stop everything. This is one of the most important calls. Then you go there so you can push for the manpower so that you can collectively. Because I once mentioned that when they win this struggle, you cannot go there and claim to be part of the victory because you were not there. You need to be there physically. I was very impressed when I see the young people on the streets and peacefully protesting. One of the smartest people. Zimbabwe, I want to compliment you guys for doing the good job. Don't ever back down. This is your constitutional right. The government can try to threaten you, to instill fear in you so that you don't exercise your constitutional right. That is your constitutional right. Carry on, push that. We are behind you. We are supporting you. We just want peace. We just want, to promote social welfare. Everyone to be happy in their country, to be comfortable. If you leave your country, that will be entirely based on your personal reasons, not for the fact that you can't find jobs, the economy is doing horrible and all of that. Then now you are pushed. When you reach a level that you are pushed to go to a foreign country, that is the biggest problem. Myself, personally, I don't have any dream to go to America. That's not my dream. I love my country. I love South Africa. I will never relocate to any other country. I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about the US because everybody seems to be dreaming that, in America, it's when you are in Hollywood, you want to get a nice job. And there are people who are poor, who are sleeping on the street there in America. So I will not really leave my own country to say I can do it maybe voluntarily, but I don't see myself doing it because why? I'm very much patriotic about my country. I'm very much patriotic about Africa as a whole. Africa as a whole is super rich, has got so many things. We just need to be positive and learn from countries like Burkina Faso, learn from presidents like Ibrahim Traore. Commander Traore is doing a good job there. I will not and I cannot stop complimenting that young man because he inspires some of us. He's putting some certain hopes that also in our country, we are going to have the ANC out one day. We are going to resolve our own problems our way. No one should be telling us how to resolve our problems. That is why I'm saying, Zimbabweans, go home there and fix your problem. You've got a chance to do that. And if you miss all these opportunities, what are you going to say to the next generation? That is my biggest problem. So I want to compliment Comrade Geza. Comrade Geza is not scared of the crocodile. He's not scared of ED. He's addressing him directly to say, hey, listen, what you're doing is nonsense and must come to an end. We need patriotic citizens like him. I wish we could multiply the Comrade Gezas in Zimbabwe. You can imagine if people are that courageous, no matter how much the government responds with violence, with brutality and all of those things, they will always win. They will always emerge as winners because the commitment that you take, I know it can be painful. I know there's going to be a lot of things that are actually discouraging you as Zimbabweans to say no, but maybe we made a wrong decision. We should stop fighting this man. We're not winning. Sometimes you'll feel like you are fighting, but you're not winning. Just like us in South Africa. We've been talking to the dumb ANC for the longest time. They don't seem to understand us. They don't seem to be willing to change or anyway. They are just worried about their own political party. They are not worried about the voters. They just need the voters to vote for them so they maintain the outright majority so they can continue to steal, continue to loot, continue to be arrogant, continue to rub poverty on our faces by buying expensive cars, eating expensive dinners, wearing expensive clothes and all of that. So they are actually wolves in sheepskin. We need to expose them. We need to fight for our country. I like people who are having a courage to fight for their country, to fight for the right thing. If something is wrong, good people, it's wrong. It remains wrong. We don't have to put some cosmetics that, no, but we can, no, it's wrong. Let's call a spade, not a garden tool. So what is ANC is doing now also is completely wrong, and I don't wish anything for them. I just wish for their downfall so that ANC can be in one of the dustbins of history. We can forget about this curse. ANC was just like a curse in our lives, especially black South Africans. It came as a holy political party. Later on we found out these people were actually negotiating for themselves and not for any other South African citizen. They got a political party. They didn't get an economic power. So they got a political power. So for them to use a political power to gain an economic power, they couldn't do it. They failed because why? They can't think. They were stagnant. Even now, they don't know how to do it. To them, it's a rocket science. By the way, compliment to the Zimbabweans who participated. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. We are here. We are behind you. We see what you're doing. There's nothing wrong. You are exercising your right. You have a right to choose a leader. Comrade Geza, salute. I respect you, old man. You are doing a marvelous job. And continue to inspire the Zimbabweans. Thank you. I sign out.